Welcome. Namaste. I'm Crystal, and I'll be guiding you through a yin practice today. So those of you tuning in live can feel that it's a really very hot, humid day, much hotter than it is normally here in the spring. So if you're watching this recording, you'll know why I'm teaching the practice that I am today. I'm going to focus on some poses that help cool the body. There is a philosophy in yoga that says when we open up our side bodies, stretch the side bodies, and do some extra attention there, that we can release some excess heat in the tissues of the body. So we'll be doing some of that today. And don't worry, it doesn't affect your temperature or anything like that. It's just kind of a release of moving of energy, which is basically what we do in any type of yoga practice. Also, I want to show you a cooling breath practice. It's called Shitali breath. It's a good breath to do that will immediately help to cool down the tissues in the mouth and go into other parts of your body. So if you're a tongue roller, not all of us are because it's a gene you have to have, you can roll your tongue and you roll it like a straw and stick it out. And then you sip the air in like you're drinking through that straw. So breathing in and out through your tongue. If you're not a tongue roller, that's okay too. Then you purse your lips like you're drinking out of a straw, and you do the same movement, breathing in and out. Let's just take a few more breaths like this. Give it a try and notice the cool feeling you feel in your mouth. And because it's going through the tissues in our mouth and our tongue, it's going right down into some of the other tissues of our body and often can feel some instant cooling. Let's just take a few breaths of Shitali, either rolling your tongue or pursing your lips like you're breathing through a straw. Good. I think you get the idea, and hopefully you felt a little bit of coolness. So hopefully wherever you're practicing, in your home or the home of someone else, it is a comfortable temperature. But remember this breath if you're out walking or you're in your garden, out playing with your grandchildren, whatever you're doing outside, it might bring you some coolness. Okay, so yin is all about going deep into the connective tissue, stretching the fascia. So I always begin my practice with stretching this deep band of fascia that's in the center of the feet, and it actually runs along the whole back body, connects at the temples. So let me show you a couple of options on how you can come into this to stretch that fascia. We're going to roll, separate all the toes, and then sit back on the heels. So this is a lot of pressure. This will be the most intense pose. You can come into this pose and then bring your body forward. You might be resting on your mat, or you might be resting over a bolster. And your third option is to come into a toe squat. So now you can see I've lifted my knees and lifted my heels. You're getting benefit from each of these poses. Just find the one that you would like to practice in this evening and make your way into that pose. If you've done this before, you know it's not all that comfortable. And that's just telling us that we probably really need to do it. So let's take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Whichever pose you're in, take another cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. This time, let's take a longer breath in. Hold that breath in. Give that energy, prana, time to circulate around the throat and the head. And whenever you're ready, release it through the mouth, either in a sigh or slow. Good. And then calm everywhere else in your body. See if you can release all other tension, the shoulders, the belly, your jaws. This is a practice that is done to help prevent plantar fasciitis, so a very good practice to do. I've been doing this practice for 17 years. It's even strange to say that I've been doing it that long. I've never had any issues, and that issue, plantar fasciitis, tends to run in my family, so maybe this is really helping. It's also used as what we would call a yoga therapy or yoga practice to help if you've had plantar fasciitis to begin to stretch things out again. So good practice. We're going to be here for another few breaths. If you need to come out at any time, come out. You need to take a break to come out and come back in when you're ready. Please do what you need to do. Just like when we stretch our muscles, typically the longer we stay in this, stretching our fascia, the easier and more comfortable it becomes. So a few more breaths here. If you practice this at home, no more than 3 minutes. And it's one of those practices that at that time, it's really not doing any more benefit, so no need to do it. Anytime up to 3 minutes. And if you want to start this at home as something new, you might start with 15 seconds or 30 seconds. Okay, we are going to end this. So come out of the pose that you are in, and I'll invite you to come into tabletop pose, hands and knees. And from here, we're going to I'll invite you to tap. Tap nice and easy on the tops of your feet. That can help relieve some of that tension you might have been feeling. Good. So when we're in tabletop, that sets us up for marauding bear pose. And that's a welcoming to move your body. However, a bear might move in the wild because the bear has instincts and knows what to do. If they need to scratch, they go to a tree and scratch. If they need to align their bones, they might be doing what I'm doing, bringing shoulder and hip together. Find whatever you might need at this time of day when you're practicing. You can find stretches with the legs. You can do anything you like. And if for some reason your wrists are bothering you, you are welcome to come into a seat and find movement. We'll take a few more rounds of breath here. And just notice in your body what you feel when you do these movements. Are you inviting in some release, some relief? Maybe something is shifting. Just pay attention, notice what you feel. And you can move as slowly as you like. There's no rush. When we're inviting our bodies to open, it's important to be very mindful. There's no need to rush from one thing to another. Let's just take a couple more breaths. Finding your movement, making sure you'll feel balanced with the movement that you've invited. Good. And then when you're finished, make your way into a comfortable and supported seat. I'll show you a few options on how you might choose to sit. One is saddle or hero's pose with the seat between the heels. And you might sit up on a block, you might sit up on a bolster, or if you have the flexibility and your body feels good, you might just sit on the floor. It's just one option. Another option is to sit cross-legged, Sukhasana pose, or to sit with one leg in front of the other, or any other pose where you know you can invite your body into practice. I'm going to sit on the edge of a blanket so I can lift my hips a little so they're higher than the knees, and I'll invite you to do the same. And we're talking about the heat, and when it's so hot and humid, we can become dehydrated. So It's important that we find a nice balance of hydrating ourselves with liquids, but there's also a mudra that can help move fluids in the body. It's called Jala Mudra. We take the tip of the little finger to the tip of the thumb on both hands and let the palms rest up. And relax your jaws, maybe move them around a little bit first. And get comfortable in your seat. You might roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Might move your head side to side. And then settle in. Feel free to close down your eyes or find a gazeless gaze, maybe off the tip of the nose. Find a little separation between the layers of teeth, and then begin to connect with your breath. Just noticing how your body is choosing to breathe. Maybe feeling that life force move in through the nose, feeling it move out through the nose, and noticing if there's a difference in the temperature of what's moving in and out. There might be sensation. Just come into touch. Be in tune with what you're feeling and how this breath is moving. Invite your mind to move on the beautiful flow of your breath. When we give the mind something to focus on, it can become less busy. Always a good thing to do. Yin, the nature of yin yoga and the word yin invites us to come into quiet, come into deepness, and here we go deeper into ourselves, focusing the mind, quiet. See if you can find some of those qualities right now in your breath. Breath is quiet and slow. Maybe the breath is consistent, almost moving in a circle. The in-breath moves into the out-breath becomes the in-breath. And maybe you can notice if the inhale and the exhale are of equal length. Notice already if maybe the mind has become a little more settled. Maybe you feel a little more balanced or centered. Maybe not, but notice, tune in. And if you would like to bring in an intention for your practice, please do so. It might be something directly related to your practice, or it might be something else that's not related, but it's something important to you that you want to sort of ride along with you in your practice. Invite that in if you choose. Good. When you're ready, you can start blinking your eyes. Blink them fast, offering some moisture to the eyes. And then you can keep them open. Notice in your mouth if maybe there's a little more moisture, more saliva. Often holding Jala Mudra can help bring saliva into the mouth. And you can release Jala Mudra, wiggle into your fingers, maybe rub them Squeeze them to just invite that energy to move again. Come off from your seat. Let's extend the legs long and begin to just bounce the legs a little bit. Again, inviting prana to move back through. And we'll take some rubbing or tapping the whole length of the legs, from the hips all the way down to the toes and back up again. And then we'll do the same with each arm. Rubbing or tapping, asking prana to move. We call it qi and yin. Same thing, just a different word, different language. And we also invite our immune system to become more activated. So squeezing under the armpits, around the breast, getting into all those lymph nodes, telling them to do their jobs, move toxins from the body. Good. And then you can just sit however you choose to sit. We're going to just do a couple of stretches and then we'll go into our long held poses. So just bring your palms out from your hips, just kind of light on the fingertips. And we're going to inhale the right arm up. Reach it up, keeping the shoulder blade on the back. Press deep into that right glute and begin to bow your body, make an arch toward the right. Reaching your fingers over toward the left. Maybe you can look up underneath your elbow, getting a stretch in the neck. Release the jaws. Keep pressing into your right glute. Keep arching over. And then inhale to lift up and exhale, let that hand float down. Roll the shoulders up and back twice. Good. And then let's inhale the left arm up. Shoulder blade stays down, press into your left glute and arch your body, to the left. My body is cracking. The bones are telling me they need to move and get repositioned. Maybe you can look up underneath your arm or underneath your elbow. Keep pressing deeply into that left glute. We want the resistance. So when we have this arch on the left side of the body, we can really open up. Good. Lift the arm back up to the ceiling and let that arm float down. Let's extend our arms out from the shoulders with the palms up. Pull the navel in just a little bit, and then we're going to rotate the palms back and the thumbs back and forward, getting a little deeper into the fascia, the tissue around the shoulder blades. And also getting into these joints here. They're called GHC joints, where the humerus goes into the shoulder girdle. Couple more of these. Again, really tuning into what you feel here. Good. Keep the palms lifted, and let's cross the left elbow under the right. And if you can snake your arms around, binding them into eagle, please do that. If not, let your hands rest on your shoulders. Pull the navel in, lift your elbows. And if your arms are bind around, then pull your hands away from your face. Keep the jaws relaxed. You control the intention here. The higher you lift, the more you pull your hands away, the deeper amount of stretching you'll be inviting. Good, let's release, open palms up, and we'll take 2 rotations. One more. Good, palms stay up, and this time the right elbow under the left, or the opposite of what you did the first time. And again, lift the elbows, pull the hands away. If your hands are on your shoulders, just lift and tuck your chin slightly. Again, you control how much energy and intention you want moving here, lifting up, pulling away, connecting with what you feel around the shoulder blades, all of that tissue. Maybe a little bit even at the base of the neck. Let's release, open palms up, and take 2 rotations. Palms back, palms up, palms back, palms up, and let it go. Let's just swim out these shoulders. Lift the shoulders up And then just take a sudden release. Lift and release. Lift and release. Good. I think we're ready now. We're going to do a whole series of poses together, and you'll need your blanket or like a large beach towel. Start with it looking something like this, and then fold it to be about 4 to 5 inches high. You're going to start in a heart opener. So the blanket or your towel is going to come horizontal across your mat, and just the very bottom of your shoulder blades kind of graze the mat, graze the blanket. So you can see how the chest is lifted nice and high. Arms will come out to the sides. You might want to put another blanket roll or a bolster under your knees just to make sure your low back is okay. Come into your heart opener. When you get all settled in, find some stillness in your body. And you might take a cleansing breath to settle yourself in. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, and just tell your body to soften. No muscle engagement, no effort. Relax your jaws. And truly every part of your body that you are able to. If you need to give your mind a focus, maybe you give it a word: peace, health, immunity. Or you might bring into your mind's eye somewhere that you feel is very special, you feel calm, maybe somewhere in nature. I will be checking in with you every so often, so you know I'm still here. But just settle in and relax. Let go. Let the props do the work. You don't need to do anything. Go inward, just like Yin invites us. Just reminding you to stay soft. Your body stays soft, no muscle engagement. Just stay there in that special place within yourself. Just quiet and calm and peaceful. And continuing to just soften and be in your heart opener. This heart opener also invites prana to move right around the heart center. It's also a back bend. So we're inviting energy to move while you just are allowed to rest. We're going to be here for a little while longer, and I will invite you, if you choose, to bring your awareness to the heart center. It's one of our main 7 energy centers or chakras in our body. And this chakra is associated with energy of love, compassion, empathy, where we both receive and give. So maybe there's something here you'd like to connect to as you finish out this pose. The color of this chakra is a beautiful, bright emerald green. So maybe you'd like to connect with that light, maybe feeling the light expand within you and feeling it contract as you exhale, inhaling and exhaling, maybe just envisioning that light growing and coming back to just a small dot. Maybe you'd like to ask something from this chakra. Is there something you need here? It's all up to you. We'll take several more breaths, so be with your own intentions here. Good, just 2 more breaths, and then you can let your body come back to just breathing as it chooses. Just notice if you feel any sort of energy movement around your heart center. It might be very subtle, but you might feel something there. And then listen carefully. We're going to go right from this heart opener to our next pose. So the blanket will stay just as it is. And you're going to make your way onto your left side. So your left side body will come right where the blanket is, kind of the curve of your left waist. The left arm will come out nice and long, and you can rest your head on it. You can have another blanket or something there to rest your head if you choose. The legs will also be nice and long, unless you need to bend them a little to help support yourself, then do that. You might even put a bolster behind you for a little support. Your right arm can either rest on your body or maybe in front of you, or it might come all the way overhead and just lightly rest over your ear. So we're lifting up the right side of the body to the ceiling, to the sky, and the left side right at the curve of the waist is over the blanket. And then settle in here, find stillness. Take away any effort. Relax the legs and the arms and the jaws. Come into stillness. Give yourself, your mind, a tool to help it stay focused as you need. Softening anywhere else that you might still be holding some effort or intention. When we soften our muscles, the effort or the stress goes into the fascia, a little bit deeper tissue, and that's what we're looking to open in yin. The side body stretch is also getting into the lymph nodes, so helping to stimulate the immune system. Just rest maybe into those positive thoughts. Just checking in to let you know we're going to be here for a little while longer, so just stay nice and peaceful, softening the body. And as we come into kind of the final phase of this pose, I'm going to invite you to stay as you are, but begin to deepen your breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And as you inhale, feel your side body on the blanket, press in, and feel your side body facing the sky expand. So again, we have this sort of diversity of energies moving. So breathe deeply enough that you can feel this expansion as you inhale, and feel sort of compression back toward the center with your exhale. Continue to breathe like this, breathing deep enough to feel the physical movement of your body on the blanket and lifting to the sky. Take a few more rounds of this, breathing nice and deep into the side bodies, offering some stimulation to the lymph nodes along the side, offering some coolness as we offer the body to release some of the heat through the side body. Just a couple more breaths. Good. You can release the breath and you can listen carefully. We're going to take a slow transition so you can begin, if you have your arm overhead, to release your arm. You bend your knees. And now I'm going to ask you to come on to your belly over the blanket. So the blanket is right kind of at the lower part of your navel. We're setting up for Sphinx pose here. So let the tops of your feet be on the floor, the toenails down. Legs can be almost as wide as your mat. Bring the elbows right underneath your shoulders with all of your fingers pointing forward. Let's move the jaws around, relax the jaws. Good, and when you're ready, press from the elbows through the forearms to the tips of the fingers and lift the heart a little more. So we're opening the front of the shoulders, bringing the shoulder blades together toward each other on the back body, and the gaze is forward. Anytime you'd like a little more, or you feel like you're losing the integrity of your pose, press into the tops of your feet, your toenails, press from the elbows to the fingertips, and lift. Just keep opening the front of the heart. Shoulder blades toward each other in the back body. Jaws stay relaxed. This is a pose in yin where we do need to use a little bit of our muscles, but having the blanket or towel underneath our navel helps to put us into this pose, and we can use less effort. Anytime you'd like a little more calming, you can take a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, or you can come back into that cooling breath, shitali breath, either rolling your tongue or making a face like you're drinking out of a straw, and breathe in and out. Good. Keep lifting the front of the heart. Maybe a little intention in the forearms, opening wide. Imagine your shoulders are 4 feet apart, really wide and open. Using a little bit of our back muscles here, just as we have to hold ourselves up. Getting a little bit of effort there just from our body in this shape. Good to strengthen those and work those, getting into that fascia all around the ribs, the back of the rib cage and the sacrum. We're going to take a few more rounds of breath here. You're welcome to come out earlier if you choose. If you practice yin, you know that we kind of need to stay into a pose at least 2 minutes. So the fascia has a chance to organize itself in its new shape and do what it's supposed to do, to open up. Couple more rounds of breath. Good, let's take an inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Good, and now we'll come into our right side stretch. So from Sphinx pose, as mindfully as you are able, come on to your right side. The right curve of your waist goes over your blanket. Your right arm is extended out long. Your left arm comes overhead or rests in front of you or rests on your body. Legs are straight or a little bit of a bend. Make sure your legs, you don't have to use effort in your legs to hold you. You might even put a bolster behind you for support. Relax your jaws and then soften into your extended side stretch. Just let your whole body soften, just like we do in all of our yin poses. No effort in this pose at all. Let it go. Plenty of time here. Soften anywhere else that maybe isn't relaxing. Call in something into your mind if you haven't, or if it's wandering, give it a focus and call it back. Now, for the remaining time in this extended side stretch, I'm going to invite you once again to come into the deeper breath. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, deep enough that you can feel the side of your body press into your blanket as you inhale, and the side of your body expanding toward the sky with your inhale. Both sides of the body expanding, you feel it in different ways. So breathing in deep enough that you can feel that physical movement, that physical expansion. Just continue to connect with the breath moving in, the expansion of the sides, offering coolness in the body, or another way to say that is offering excess heat to leave, offering stimulation of the immune system. So many benefits, tuning into the breath, strengthening the lungs. A few more rounds. Good. You can release that breath, and let's take a mindful transition from the pose. If your arms bend overhead, bring it back. You can bend your knees. You can shift your blanket off from your mat and come into a child's pose. You can choose if you want your knees wide and the big toes together, or if you want your knees together. But let your elbows and your arms rest and bring your forehead down, tucking your chin in nice and deep. And now I'd like you to deepen your breath and breathe right into the back body, along the low back, along the back of the heart, kind of getting up to mid body. But breathing in deep enough that you can feel a lift and a lowering as you breathe in and breathe out. Taking a few more rounds of breath here, nice and deep. Good. Bring your hands under your shoulders, adjust your knees, and then lift yourself up. And we find ourselves back in tabletop pose. This time we're going to take just a few slow, mindful rounds of cow-cat. So with cow, drop the belly, lift and open the heart, just like we were doing in Sphinx. On your exhale, round in, pull the chin to the chest, pull the navel in, and continue. Inhale to lift and open, exhale to round. We've been doing some really deep stretching on the side body. So stretching here in the center, in the torso, will help our body find some balance, maybe some centeredness. Take one more round and then finish up. Good. And then you can get your bolster or whatever you're using in place of a bolster. We're going to line it up the long way on our mat, getting set up for stag twist. And you might have blocks alongside of you, alongside of your bolster if you like to rest your arms on blocks. You might have a blanket available to set over your top hip. So we'll begin, we're going to bring our left hip right up against the bolster. And the feet come out into the stag pose or Z pose. So the feet come out to the side, the knees are bent. If you have your seat is lifted at all, place a blanket or a towel or roll your mat up underneath it so both sit bones can be even. Take your left arm, the one closest to the bolster. Let's roll the shoulder up, back, and down. And we'll take another side stretch. Reach up and then bowl your body, arch it toward the bolster as your fingers go away from the bolster. Again, you might look up underneath toward the elbow. Relax the jaws. Press deep into that left sit bone. Then inhale, lift the arm up, and then find a twist over your bolster. You might come down with your right ear, you might come down with your left ear, or you might have something like a towel and support your forehead in the center. Good. You can rest your arms on the blocks if you like, and you might even take a blanket, or if you have a sandbag or a weight, just to put it over your hips. That's for grounding. The hips are the seat of water in the body, so maybe some grounding. Make sure your arms are not holding you. Let the arms go nice and wide. Even if you're resting on one side, relax your jaws. Settling into your pose, you can take a cleansing breath if you choose. Soften. Soften and settle in. Is there anywhere else you can soften while you let the shape of this stag twist do the work of stimulating the energy meridians that we're asking it to, sending extra energy to the organs. You're getting a stretch either in the back of your neck if your forehead is down, or a side of your neck if your head is turned. Also helping to open up the hips. So many wonderful benefits of this pose. So release all your effort so you can get those benefits and just be with yourself. Just continuing to rest in your stag twist. This is an official, as we call it, an official yin pose. It's also a restorative pose. So many, many benefits here. Relax and enjoy them. Invite them into your body. And we're coming into the final few rounds of breath here. So just really take what you need from this pose. If you don't know, just ask your body to absorb whatever it can. So good to talk to our bodies and remind it to keep us healthy, to do its work. Good. So if your head has been turned to the side, take an inhale, lift your head, and then set your forehead down. And we'll all stay here for just a few moments. We want to line up the spine before we find movement. And then find your palms coming underneath your shoulders, but on the floor. As you press in, inhale and lift all the way up and out from your stag twist. Sometimes this can leave us feeling a little out of balance because of that deep stretch on one side. So we'll come into the other side right away. You can either turn your body or you can move your bolster. And this time the bolster will come right up against the left side of the hip. So the feet come, your right hip. The feet come out to the left. And they're in that stag pose. And if your foot doesn't touch your thigh, no worries. You can even expand it out into a bigger shape so you have the space you need for your body. Remember, if a sit bone is lifted up, put a blanket or something under it. Okay. Let's take our right arm, the one by the bolster, Press into the right glute. Inhale, lift up and arch your body. Find an arch, a bend toward the bolster. If you're able to, gaze up to your fingers or maybe up under the elbow. Relax the jaws. Just feel that opening in the side body, releasing heat, getting some stretching for those little muscles between the ribs. Good. Inhale now, straighten your arm, and then make your fold, your twist over your bolster. If you had an ear down last time, have the opposite one down this time, or rest your forehead in the center. A reminder that you can use blocks to support your arms. You can also put a weight or a blanket over that lifted hip. Make sure both feet are free, that one isn't under your leg, and then settle in. Stretch your arms out so they're not holding you. You can even take a cleansing breath to settle in if you like. Soften. Invite your body into this pose. Invite the pose into your body. We do restorative poses to rest our physical bodies and restore our energy. We practice yin to get deep into the fascia around our joints and connective tissue and stimulate energy and prana to move, getting all the benefits because this pose is restorative and yin. Just continue to soften. I'm going to be here for a little while longer. Good. And if your head has been turned to one side, use an inhale to lift your head and then set your forehead onto your bolster, tuck the chin. Everyone will just be here for a few breaths, lining up the spine before we move. And slide your palms underneath your shoulders. We line up all those joints of the arms so we have more strength. Inhale and lift up and out of your pose. Come all the way up to a seat. So if your head has been turned to the side, again, you might feel a little out of balance here. So I'm just going to offer you a few practices for opening up around the neck. So just sitting comfortably, let's lift the chin, open up the throat and all these muscles in the front of the throat. And then bring your bottom lip over the top lip. Notice how that intensifies. Just breathe in and out through your nose. Just rest your palms. Think of lifting more up than back. Your head will go back a little bit, but more lifting up. Also stimulating the throat chakra. Couple more breaths like this. Good. Let your lip be released and bring your head to neutral. With your next exhale, bring your chin to the chest. Relax your shoulders. And just breathe in to the back of your neck here. Stretching out the cervical spine, all those back muscles in the back of the neck that connect the skull to the shoulder girdle. Good, let's inhale to come up. Exhale your head, turn to the right, and let your right ear come down toward the shoulder. We'll just take a little while here to stretch the left side of the neck. Relax your jaws. Good. Let's inhale the head up. Exhale, turn to the left, and let your left ear drop down toward the left shoulder. Notice the stretch on the right side. Good. Inhale to center. And hopefully everything's a little more evened out now. Good. We are going to set up for our final pose together. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm recording this on a very hot day. So I'm going to offer you the best cooling pose that I'm aware of. And that would be legs up the wall. So if you're near a wall, you can take yourself there. You might take a blanket to have underneath your neck and your head. And I'll show you how to set up if you're not near a wall. The way I like to set up for legs up the wall is to bring one of my hips right up to the wall. And then as I begin to go back, I sort of turn my body and let my legs go up the wall and my torso comes down. So my sit bones are about 8 inches from the wall. So my legs have a little bit of a tilt. And this is a really beautiful cooling pose. Good pose to do before bed, anytime you need to calm down. If you're not doing legs up the wall, let me show you how you could set up if you have blocks and a bolster. You would have your blocks on the highest level, and you would set up a deep incline with your bolster. And then this becomes your wall. And here you can rest your legs up on the bolster. And again, you might put something under your head, just a nice blanket roll in your cervical spine. Both of the poses, your arms can be out to the sides, palms up, just lifting the heart naturally. Let's all take a nice, long, cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. And now a slow exhale out the mouth, like you're letting air out of a balloon. Soften your body. Imagine your eyeballs sinking deep into their sockets, getting some nourishment, being away from the heat, being away from having to give you images. Look inward. Soften the root of your tongue. If your mouth is feeling at all dry, you can take your tongue and run it over your gum line in 3 circles clockwise in your mouth. That will help bring some saliva. You could also come back to Jala Mudra, just touching the tips of the little fingers to the tips of the thumb, and you could rest like that. Consciously let your shoulders and your shoulder blades feel heavy and soft. The whole torso, the back body, your sacrum. Just allow your legs to be heavy and rest. No effort. If you brought an intention into your practice at the very beginning, you might like to recall it now and just have that be with you in a more prominent way as you rest. We're coming to the end of our time of practice together, but I will invite you, if you would like to stay in your restorative pose and rest a little longer, if you're able to do that, please do that. It's up to you. Resting restores our energy, it can cool us down, can help us find some balance. So if you can stay longer, stay longer. If you're coming out of practice with me, just see yourself as you are in your mind's eye and begin to lengthen and deepen your breath, coming back to the physicalness of your body, the physicalness of the room. You might move your jaws around. You might gently rock your head side to side. And if your legs are elevated or you're at the wall, you might pull them away from the wall or the bolster. Maybe just shake them out. Just inviting some prana, some energy to move back through. And if you're by the wall, it might be a little close, but you might bend the knees into the chest. And if you're at your bolster, you can bend the knees into the chest. Find some gentle rocking on your sacrum if you like, or just hold the knees in, getting a nice stretch in your low back. When you're ready, come into the fetal position, resting your head on whichever side, on the arm, whichever side you come to, and pause here. Observe what's happened in your body. Do you notice anything shifted or changed in your physical body? What about in how your body's breathing? the state of the mind, maybe how you felt overall, if you were warm or hot, feeling the humidity when you came into practice, maybe that's changed. Just notice this and anything else your practice is showing you. Then take the palm of your bottom hand as you press into the floor. Inhale to let yourself come all the way up to a seat. And here we'll bring our hands to our heart. Prayer pose, Anjali Mudra, reminding us that we bring all of these energies together, the elements, fire, air, ether, earth, water, lunar energy, solar energy, feminine energy, masculine energy, all together, reminding us that it's all within us and we are part of all of it. Thank yourself for going through practice, for whatever effort it took to be here in person or to be tuning in. Thank yourself. The practice has been set in you. The benefit is there and will continue to be there. And I thank each of you for allowing me to guide you through this beautiful practice of Yin Yoga. Stay strong, stay healthy, and stay cool during these warm times. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.